Greetings, brethren, Habsburger Donkey here again, and I have finished my Norman army, now for Saga. Now this isn't, it's a bit of a weird project because it's not particularly one that I'm gonna do too much with. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Saga. It is a good game system, but I've kind of grown tired of it over the years. I just don't really enjoy playing it too much anymore. It's also kind of... I'm not too fond of historical skirmish games anymore, I must say, or these sort of medium-sized battle games. When historical, I prefer to go, proper big battles. I just think it just works better that way, for me personally. I haven't tried the new muskets and tomahawks. Maybe that'll change my mind, because I did really like the old musket and tomahawks. So we'll see. We'll see. But for now, I'm not too interested in doing much more with Saga. But I really, really enjoy painting Saga warbands, because Saga warbands are just about the right size for me to have a good amount of enjoyment. I really do like painting Dark Age era miniatures. I think they're great. And they work really well with this speed painting technique that I've sort of developed for myself over the years. And I think the figures look great, and I just really enjoy painting them up. So what I do pretty much with these is I every now and then, when I can either find some cheap figures on eBay, or during sales and sort of discount things, I'll pick up Dark Age miniatures cheap, and then just paint them up and sell them. That's really what I do with them. It doesn't quite pay in the same way as commissions. I don't take as much because I don't think anyone would buy them if I took like the proper, So it's kind of, you're kind of getting the figures for free if you buy one of these. Anyway, yeah. So let's show you some of these a bit closer up. So this particular Norman Warband has 12 levy archers. Let's show you this one. And the way I paint these is I can show you, because I have another project similar that's sitting over here. I prime them white like this, and then I give them an overall wash in a dark brown, so Agrax Earthshade, or at this point I'm kind of using my own. I sort of might even mix it with a bit of a black wash to get a darker brown wash, and then afterwards I dry brush the whole figure with white again, and it just gives it some shadow, almost like when you do with an airbrush you can do the zenithal highlighting and it'll create the shadows, but this also creates some amount of texture, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not just looking for the shadows, I'm also looking for the texture, because as you can see, once you then glaze over the that base coat, all the clothing and all the leather on this figure is just one coat of a glaze, so really thinned down paint. Oh god, what is this yellow? Probably beige or buff from Vallejo Model Color, and the dark gray-brown pants, that's track primer from Vallejo Model Color Panzer Aces. And yeah, that's it. I just thin it down to sort of a milk consistency, wipe off most of it on a paper towel, and then I just sort of put a thin coat on, and that's it. That creates this effect, and I think it looks absolutely lovely. It does look a bit rubbish while you're painting them. So this is one of those speed painting techniques where you have to really put on the whole thing, including flesh colors and metal and all that, and only at the end they look good. So it does take a bit of perseverance to pull through, but at the end I think they look absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with them. This is, I think, the 5th or 6th Saga warband that I've painted. We have some Crossbowmen. These figures, all of these figures, by the way, are from Gripping Beast, metal Gripping Beast figures, and these Crossbowmen are terrible. They're really terrible. I don't know if they're just really old figures from Gripping Beast, but I think you can see it on this one. There's a massive mold line running right through his face, and they were such a pain to clean up, and the sculpts aren't even that nice to begin with, but with all the cleaning up that I had to do with them, that it's just not worth it. This is another one that had a pretty gnarly mold line. But the worst one was this one, who lost the crossbar, I guess. And so I had to drill through the crossbow and just put a rod through it and bent that. It's not great, but I didn't want to completely resculpt the thing, so it's good enough. And then we have 2 units of spearmen, and here you can definitely see that, or spear warriors, I should say, that I don't really care too much about Saga anymore, because this isn't particularly good. A Norman Warband doesn't really support melee warrior infantry particularly well, so yeah, this isn't great from a game perspective. But I just like spearmen the most, so I wanted to paint some, and this is, I guess, what I got as well. The shields are mostly transfers from Little Big Man Studios, and I just follow their standard sort of instructions, and then I put a little sort of fade effect, like a distress effect around the corners to make them look worn and old. I think that makes them blend into the figures a bit better, because I think sometimes the Little Big Man Studio decals are almost too good. They almost stand out too much. So yeah, some more spearmen. This is the spearmen I did the. It's actually still wet. I did the moss tutorial with this one. I don't hate these figures. I think they do look nice, but again, they are sculpt wise. They're a bit annoying to work with. So yeah, I definitely prefer doing Saga Warbands with non-Gripping Beast figures. Black Tree Design has really nice ones, and so does Footsore Miniatures. They have some really good ones as well. But yeah, in general, I'm pretty happy with these. Let's see, do we have one with fancy? There's one with. Maybe I put them all on the Cavalry. This one. Give him a bit of a brighter blue tunic. Well, I must say it looks a lot brighter through the camera than it does in reality. It's a bit more bluish gray than what it appears. But yeah. What else we got? We got some knights, of course. You can't have a Norman Warband without knights. And the horses are actually what I... Like, they're one of the only things I use contrast paints from Games Workshop for. I think they are perfect for painting horses. They speed up the process of horses so unbelievably much. And I think the results are really nice. So I think the horses you get are pretty great. And it's almost no effort. So yeah, I'm really happy with how these turned out again. I might actually do, like I did with the moss, I might do a tutorial on how I paint horses with contrast paints, because yeah, I don't know, it's I think contrast paints are definitely, I don't like them too much when you just use contrast paints. I think it looks kind of cheap and garish and weird, but if you use them with some other stuff, I think they can really save a lot of time, and especially for stuff like horses, you know, where the horse isn't really the center of what you're looking at. You're looking at the rider, and the horse is just kind of backdrop, because like when you're looking at a figure, you know, the shield and the head. That's what, and I guess the skin areas and just the rider in general. That's what's drawing the eye. And so all of this is just background, and it just needs to be good enough. And I think that's definitely the kind of effect you can achieve with contrast paints. Here I got a black horse. I didn't go too crazy on the different horse colors in this batch. I've done a few more different ones in the past. But yeah, I don't know. Again, they're just backdrops, so they don't all need to be different. I also did one bay colored horse. And then lastly, we have the Warlord. And on this one, first of all, I put him on the only round MDF that I had, big one, was a 50 mil, so he's on a 50 mil now. Usually they're supposed to be on a 40 mil, and I do think he is a little bit forlorn almost on the base, but oh well. It's what I had. I didn't want to buy a base just so I could base up this Warlord. Also, when I was buying the shield transfers for this project, I totally miscounted the shield, the transfers I was gonna need by one. So I had one too few. So this is for the Warlord, I actually free-handed the shield. You can see the cross is a tiny bit off center, but I think it looks pretty nice, and it blends in with the army well. He's the only one who's sitting on a gray horse. I wanted the other ones to all be brown or black, so I want him to stand out a little bit as the rich Warlord guy. And yeah, that's it. That's a 6-point Saga Warband, 1 point of Levy Archers, 1 point of Warrior with Crossbows, 2 points of Warriors with just Spears and Shields, and 2 points of Mounted Hearthguard over here. And yeah, I really enjoy painting Saga Warbands, and I hope you enjoyed this little showcase. And next on the bench, we have more Oathmark Goblins, so look forward to that. Also, this is going to be my next for sale kind of project, so sort of commission, but nobody has commissioned them yet. It's going to be a Test of Honor force of Iko-Iki. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoy the channel still, and have a lovely week. Take care.